Important thing I can possibly say. Because today, and this year especially, we have to realize that life is too short to let somebody else define what it should be for you. Congratulations again, class of 2011. Go out and be successful. And now I'd like to introduce Westport High School Principal Cheryl Tudelo.
Thank you, Carissa. Welcome, graduates, this morning, faculty, staff, family, and guests. I have developed the habit of the last few years of speaking about what I have seen in senior projects. But this year, this class took on one huge project, and I think it fitting that you all hear about it this morning. The adults in this school decided we needed to deliver a safe prom message to the juniors and seniors. And we knew that those messages for teenagers are best heard when they are delivered from someone who's influential with them. And as always, it is their peers. After I saw Adam Soar's senior project on drinking and driving, I knew it would be the perfect introduction for a safe prom message for two reasons. Number one, it did deliver a very strong message about the impact of drinking and driving on families. And number two, as a skilled athlete, Adam is a very strong, positive role model in this school. So we then turned to two leaders in the class, Ian Dorey and Andy Valeri, and we had them work with former Westport High School teacher Mike Davis and produced a video that was shown to all juniors and seniors the day before the prom. And what I learned from that video was this, that Tom Cawley, Lindsay Lees, and Nelson Gita have big plans for the future. Plans that include family, friends, and pursuing their dreams. And they won't let that be interrupted by making impulsive, dangerous decisions. I learned that Lindsay and Dylan Wood are committed to celebrating safely, or as Dylan put it, he did not want to have to ride in an ambulance. Adam Ferreira is more than willing to pick up anyone who needs a ride home to be safe. Now remember, it's Adam. So that means you should look for a truck, a backhoe, or some other piece of construction equipment. But he will be there. Sean Rodonitis, Ian Dorey, Isaiah Manley, Sam Starry, and Scott Petty all put it very simple when they said, think before you act, because what you do will have an impact on everyone. What you do will only last a few seconds, but the impact will last for the rest of your lives. And a very reflective Samantha Cabral challenged you to fast forward time 10 years from now. And when you look back at 2011, will you be proud of the decisions that you made? And Andy Valeri took the very stern note of the parent perspective. And yes, parents, you will be angry if you are faced with having to pick up a child who has done something you think is foolish. But the anger of your parents will fade, whereas grief will not. I have watched that video several times, and I think the conclusion was said best by Adam Soars and Kate McKillop when they said, the best memories you will ever have are the ones you can remember. I know it was not easy to sit before your peers and stand up for what you believe, but it was a very courageous move on your part, and I have to believe that they listened. But I have also had my lighter moments with the class of 2011, and I will just share a glimpse of those. To Jenna Arsenal, I will be forever grateful for having to finally introduce me to Chippies. for Andy Fileri for trying to teach everyone how to Dougie, and for Tom Corley and company for the entertainment in the cafeteria. I came to refer to them as the table. I originally thought they were having very serious scientific conversations, until the day I looked into the courtyard and they were all sitting there with purple latex gloves over their heads. It was then that we agreed what happened at the table would stay at the table. And finally, Scott Machado, trying to be very dignified and poised in presenting his senior project, where he was wondering about why we have the rules that we have at Westport High School, as some of his classmates were attempting an illegal pizza delivery. In any event, class of 2011, my final words to you are these: learn from yesterday, live for today, and always hope for tomorrow. Congratulations. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Carlos Colley.
Good morning and welcome, parents, family, community members, those of you out there that have actually helped these wonderful young men and women grow up to be what they're going to be. It takes a town to grow talent like this, so I want to welcome some of the people that are here today. School committee members, Michelle Duarte and Mr. Tony Viveras, Selectman Mr. Spillett and Mr. Vieira. And I want to say that every year this gets harder because you get to know the students a little bit better the longer you're here. In thinking about this class, I couldn't help but remember my own daughter, who just graduated this year. And all of us, teachers and parents, we're going to miss you and wish for you to one day return to us full of success. So in thinking of my daughter, I actually wrote a poem that I'm not going to read to you. However, that poem changed, and with the help of one of your teachers, Mrs. Eileen Pereira, who told me not to mention her name, that poem turned into another one for you. In this life, I always thought we'd walk together, you and I. But now you must go, while we remain with echoes of your youthful voice in stone hallways. Of your life caught between childish fits of feelings and fearful flights of yearning to be grown. You have been eager to fly away from home. Leave now as you dream. Go now where you must. But will you remember us? In this life, I always thought we'd walk together, you and I. But now you must go while we remain. You eagerly take the parchment beaming, blind to the hopes and dreams we carefully folded between the ivory pages. You toss the mortarboard towards heaven, our fading dreams made fresh by yours. You free your heart to find the place where mystery gives way to truth. Your worldly place reveals itself as it carries you away from us. In this life, I always thought we'd walk together, you and I. But now you must go while we remain. You will go to meet the morning of these last high school summer days, armed with our best lessons, and your shining innocence shimmers on Watauga Pond. We ask you to strive for peace, to question often with passion, and answer slowly with wisdom. And in quiet moments, remember us as wistfully we hugged and watched each other fade into sepia memories of simpler times and summer rhymes of high school days. In this life, I always thought we'd walk together, you and I, but now you must go while we remain. You will take endless portraits, desperately delaying your farewells. June flowers are exchanged, and friends fervently pledge to stay true. And some of us here are left wondering what we will ever do